Hello and welcome. I'm Nathan42 and in this video I'm going to show you Manjaro. Okay, so I've spent a bit of time just installing and getting back used to Linux as an operating system as a way of a daily driver. So I'm back on Arch Linux flavored Manjaro. So if you look on the screen right now, this is Manjaro's website. This feels a bit different actually. Hang on. Let's turn this off. There we go. Alright, cool. So if you wanted to get Manjaro, this is how you do it. So you just click download at the top, and then you go to the one that I've got is Plasma. So you can go to Plasma Desktop here. This actually looks different to the way that I downloaded it literally days ago. But yeah, Manjaro team. So you got the different flavors of desktop. So you got GNOME, which is kind of like a very standardized one for Ubuntu. So Ubuntu usually uses GNOME. XFCE, which is a very minimalist kind of operating system, very lightweight, which is nice. And you got Plasma, which is KDE, which is what I'm using right now, which is what we have here. As you can see, it looks nice. It's very Windows-like. So yeah, you want to download it, you just click on where is it? You can choose full or minimal, and then you can download the image, signature, and checksum. So you just download the full image, and it will download the ISO for you up here. I'm not going to walk through all the steps of this. So that's for another time. Maybe I'll do that in another video. I'll show you how to install Manjaro on a PC. If you wanted to see that, let me know in the comment section below and I will do that. Use Rufus or whatever it is to burn it to a USB stick, plug it into your PC, reboot. Once you get into the machine, it will boot into Manjaro. If it doesn't, use delete or escape or F12 to get into the boot menu, boot off the USB stick. Choose, it will say open source drivers and proprietary drivers for booting into Manjaro. If you're using a NVIDIA graphics card, use proprietary. If you're not, use open source. If it's like an AMD or an Intel graphics. And that's about it. Well, actually, no, sorry. Then you need to use the installer to install it onto your machine. Now, remember that this usually does erase your entire system, and it will reinstall a new system running Linux. There are ways to partition off parts of your drive. So if you're in Windows, you can go into Disk Manager, and you can right-click your drive, and you can click Shrink, and then you can shrink the amount of space that your drive currently takes down by like half or so, and then you can use the rest of it as a new partition to hold the Manjaro section, which is what I've done. It's a dual boot Manjaro with Windows, and Manjaro even does have its own bootloader thing, so that when it loads up it says, do you want to load Manjaro? And if you press a different button in a couple of seconds, you can go down to Windows boot manager, so you can boot back into Windows as well. So if you prefer to have both, you can have both still, just in case, because there are sometimes things that don't work very well in Linux, and you might want to go back to Windows and just get the pure experience with that. I have noticed as well that HDR doesn't seem to be much of a thing on Linux. I don't know if maybe that's just I've not installed the right thing, but there's definitely no settings anywhere that say turn on HDR that I've noticed. But it does, so far from what I've seen, it does load a lot of things in very seamlessly. Manjaro, for example, if we click on the start menu here, it loads in with a load of the what was it? Welcome. Okay, I can't find the welcome menu thing anymore, but it does pop up when you start it up, and it's like, welcome to Manjaro. If you need to learn how to do this, then there's like load of these buttons on the screen, and it'll take you to different websites to try and teach you on how to use this system. Now, I've got a Stream Deck, which I'll be doing a video about at some point soon, to help me click between things, and it works perfectly fine on Windows. Now, I wasn't sure how well it would work on Linux, because it doesn't have any official software for Linux. But someone has created a UI for it, and it's this thing here. So Stream Deck UI. Because we're on Manjaro, we have access to anything that's on Arch Linux, because it is running on Arch Linux. Manjaro, which is the nice thing about Manjaro, is because it's a stable system, you do get the ability to have the most up-to-date things and the most up-to-date software and stuff from the repositories, but it is also wrapped up nicely, so it should be fairly solidly working. Now, Steam Deck UI is this thing here. You can just search AUR-archlinux.org and it will show you all these different things that you can install. So, I mean, there's loads of different things. You've got TeamViewer, and then even that you can install, and it's got a different version of it still. And Steam, there'll be Steam on here. Steam CMD. And the really good thing about this is it all does just work normally on here. Sometimes even you'll get comments in the section below like, it was missing this. This one says it's unusable. To avoid STL error, install this. So people are very helpful on here, which is nice. Especially because most people who go on here probably don't know a huge amount about Linux. Well, I say that, it's Arch Linux. So a lot of people on here would actually know probably more than most people do about Linux. But yeah, it also does have its own app store. So on Linux, you don't usually, or you're not supposed to, install programs just by downloading, clicking install, it runs the installer, installed. That's not really how it's done on Linux. So down here you have this little add remove software button. You click this, and as you can see already, actually, I've already got Firefox, which came in pre-installed, which is nice. I've got Steam, which again came pre-installed, pretty cool. Discord and OBS Studio. Now, if you want OBS Studio, you can just do OBS Studio. Is it on here? It is on here, but actually, it's not just on here. It's in this. It's in the App Store as well. So if you go on here, you go OBS, enter. There's OBS Studio. You click the little plus button here. It'll say at the bottom. Well, actually, I'll show you with something else. Shall I? Say I want to get. I don't know what Obsidian is. Blobby Volley game. There are some games on here. A lot of the free games that you can get. Some of them can be pretty good, but it is always a bit iffy when it comes to free games on here. So this is Gemini, Calligra. I have no idea what that is, so I'll click on that. We'll go install, apply. I'll type in my my password. It'll say, do you want these extras? And you can either tick it or you cannot. It doesn't really matter. I'll say no, I don't want these extras. It will say, right, so what we're going to do is we're going to install this stuff, because these are the dependencies, and then you click apply, and it downloads and installs it. Pow, now it's installed, and it's called Calligra. Yeah, so it seems like it might be an Office suite. So if we go into Office on here, so this is the start menu. I'm not really explaining this very well. Sorry about that. But it's just like so much stuff to look at. This is the start menu. Oh, and this is, hang on, we'll go back to the home screen. This is what you first see. I should have probably started with that. This is what you first see. Start bar. This is the start bar. Or I think it's KDE something bar. you can type in, one of the really cool things on Linux is like everything is customizable. So you can type in keyboard, and then it will say custom shortcuts. And you can say, okay, that's cool. So I want some custom shortcuts set up. Do you use terminal very much? Maybe. Maybe not. I'm going to go shortcuts, actually. I clicked on the wrong one. And then you can go down to console. It says console. And then you can say it to meta C, which is meta being the Windows key. C being obviously the C character on the keyboard. Now if I press meta C, oh, they don't have a screen, but here he is. There's console. Useful. And now if I close that, I think it opens in the same place. It doesn't. It doesn't open in the same place. Does control click it do that? No, it doesn't. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, and you can add other applications on here, and you can set up different things in that same sense as well. So everything can have its own shortcuts, which is nice. There's a lot of different things that you can change on here, and it's even got being Arch Linux. It's built from the bottom up, so it starts off with absolutely nothing, including no adapters for internet, no adapters for Wi-Fi, nothing, like no printers, nothing. So all this stuff on here has been added to the system so that it can work properly. No user interface. that's the main one. So like this window that we see is all artificial, added on top of everything else. Thanks to the graphics card and stuff like that for making it movable. What was I doing? Yeah, back to the start bar. So we go into here, we can go to Office, and we can say, oh, look, here's the Calligra stuff that we've just installed. So we got a Calligra Gemini, word processing and presentation. That sounds cool. Let's have a look at that. Click on that. Maybe I opened the wrong one. I don't know. Oh dear. Alright. Let's try a different one, shall we? Calligra Sheets. Okay, here we go. Calligra Sheets. I want to go business. Let's do a bloody, I don't know, let's do an expense report. And now this is basically just a free version of Excel. Obviously, notably free. And yeah, because I've set the theme on here, it has it set to dark mode and stuff. So the windows are all dark, which is nice. And I don't know why that Calligra Gemini is not working, but it's not working. As expected anyway. Calligra words, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Colourful document. So you can full screen that, and you've got your own little word processor in here, and you can type hello world. And you can do that kind of stuff. That's what it's all about. Is the ultimate level of choice here. So only Office. Is that working on here? So we've got only Office here. I'm going to go document. And there we go. Now I've got only Office. Hello world. Now I quite like only Office, and I've also got or I'm trying to get a version of this onto my server so that I can use it remotely or through Nextcloud. I really want to do that with OpenOffice because I think it would be the best way to do it. But yeah, now say that you didn't like that thing that I just installed, which I didn't really like it that much. You can go on here and you can say, okay, here's all the stuff that I have. Calligra, Stage, Sheets. Oh. Calligra. Let's untick all those. Calligra Sheets. So we'll remove that. We'll click apply. Click apply. Warning. Sure. Cool. You can go to DOSBox, which I have installed. Dependencies optional for. So you can click that, and then you can install the extras and stuff for it. That's some of the more base level things that you do on here. When you really think about it, what kind of things do you do on your computer? What do you do? Which is a weird thing to say, but are you just word processing? Because if you are, then you can very easily switch to Linux. If you are you playing games? If you are, then in a lot of cases you can switch to Linux. If you're using Steam, now I'll just switch to my other screen. Here we go, here's my other screen. This is my Steam, and as you can see, like, it has all these games. It has a thing here which show games that run on Linux. You can turn that off, so you can see my full list of games here. And it says I've got 619 games. You can press that button again to show the Linux ones, and it says 617. So I think that list will be a lot smaller. What you can do is you can go into settings here. You can go to Steam Play, and then it says advanced. Enable Steam Play for supported titles, ticked by default, I think. And then enable Steam Play for all other titles. Run other titles with Proton experimental. So this is the wine that we used to hear about, which is now Proton. Or Proton uses wine and a load of its own custom DLLs and stuff like that to be able to emulate Windows games in Linux, I think. So it can run exe files in Linux as if it was natively on Windows, which is really good. So I could pick any game out of this list, click run, and it will probably run. I've been playing Farming Sim 22 on here. It's cloud saves as well, so I played this on Linux, cloud saved, went back onto Windows, played the same save file, which is pretty cool. That's pretty out there. Some games come with out of the box support for Linux, which is really good, because what that means is you don't even have to emulate it. So it runs bare metal. It runs on your own computer hardware, which is really nice. I did want to set up a Windows VirtualBox so that I could pass through a graphics card to that VirtualBox and then have the ability to play anything through my PC as if it was on Windows, because that would be the ultimate end goal, would be to have every system on a VirtualBox, including Mac and Windows, because then if I wanted to do anything in Mac or Windows, then I could just emulate it and send it off to a graphics card, which is fine. But I'm feeling less and less like I need to do that more recently, because I can play most of the games that I actually do play through Linux natively anyway now. So that's really nice. And I mean, Mac is just for experimental purposes anyway. You can go into games, and there's this program called Lutris. Now, if it doesn't show up in Steam, here's Lutris. Hopefully, it will show up in Lutris. Now, what Lutris is a just a way to play other games. So it does have Steam on here. It has Ubisoft Connect and Origin, so you can connect all of your other stores to this, and you can try and download them for it. Now, if you go to games, you can search a game, or you can search a program as well. So here we go. Autodesk Fusion 360. Now, okay, downloads newest client from Autodesk and patches the installer for installation. We can try this. I don't know if it's going to work or not. So, yeah, continue. So this one has been a bit of a pain for me, because I've always used Fusion 360. When I first came over to Linux, it was one of the really hard things that I just couldn't get over not having, because I've been trying to use FreeCAD, and FreeCAD, as robust as it is, it feels like it has a very steep learning curve. And there's just things that aren't as intuitive as on Fusion 360. Now I'm gonna keep trying, because I do want to use that one instead. I do prefer the idea of being able to have a software that won't go null and void in probably like 2 or 3 years time, when they decide to make Fusion 360 completely subscription based, which may not happen. But would you also be able to download all the files that you need? Can you render your own STL files? That kind of thing. If you can't, then it makes it fairly pointless for 3D printing unless you pay for it. And that's something that I don't really want to have to do. So yeah, this is doing a thing. I don't know exactly what it's doing, but Winetricks and Proton, in a similar kind of category, they kind of emulate a lot of the files that Windows can have, and put it into Linux. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, it's doing something. Hopefully, it's doing things that are working correctly. I mean, I don't know why they use yellow text. I always attribute that with things not working correctly. But yeah, anyway. So this is how it actually happened with Overwatch. Now, I play Overwatch. It's the only main other game that I play on a different platform to Steam, other than from time to time I'll play Fortnite, but I don't play Fortnite very often, and I mean that might even be on here as well. I mean, it's found it. The game does not work due to easy anti-cheat. Please let Epic Games know you're interested in playing on Linux. Epic Games has released Fortnite on 7 different platforms. That's the weird thing about this, it's running. It runs on Android. It runs on Android, but it's not allowed to run on Linux. Now, I don't know if they're worried that a load of cheaters are going to come over from Linux, because sometimes that is a bit of an issue. Probably not as much as people think, though. So, yeah, I mean, that's installed in. I don't know if this is just looping and like messing up continuously. For all I know, that could be what's actually going on right now. But yeah, I hope you got a bit of an understanding about Manjaro, why I've switched to Manjaro. There's still a ton of things I can go over and talk about here, actually. And I'll do one more little thing here. Let me just try and find my settings, system settings. Alright, so system settings are here. Off the bat, you get this thing here. You can choose dark or light mode, whatever you prefer. Animation speeds, clicking files or folders selects them, or double click opens them. You got this desktop effects. Oh, these are my most used settings, apparently. So I've only used 2 things from here so far. But yeah, here we go. So you can go down here, there's hardware configuration. You can see what video drivers we're using, open source or installed. That's good to know. I didn't actually know this was here. Oh, and you can choose. You can change to proprietary or open source drivers here. That's very useful. I didn't know that. Now we know. Kernel, so you can choose to install a different version of the one that you currently have. There's language packs, as you would expect. Desktop workspace behaviors, so you can choose how the screen locks. You can choose how to lock the screen, so as in Windows key L. Virtual desktops, so you can choose to have multiple different desktops. They have that on Windows now. It's a feature they took from Linux. But yeah, there we go. Touch screen, screen edges. So if you go to the top corner of the screen, it highlights in blue. and then it allows you to see all the screens that you currently have. That's cool, I guess, in a way. There's things that you can do with that. Maximize. I can't remember exactly what they are, but there we go. You can choose how your search happens or what it does. Start up and shut down, so you can choose the login screen and all that kind of thing. You can choose what programs auto start, and I need to add an application to this actually because I have Stream Deck. So now if I do that, that is the same as running Stream Deck, which opens my Stream Deck, which allows me to do stuff like this. Now, I don't know if this has to be open and visible for me to actually be able to use it. Let's see, does it actually... it does work. I go games, go home, go apps, go home. Yeah, and it has all the things you need. You can make it press keys. It's not quite as intuitive as the one on PC because obviously it is just this. But yeah, I mean, you can have multiple Stream Decks connected if you prefer to have that. And you can have, yeah, and it's all a free program. So you can close that off. If you close it off, oh, mine is still working. I don't think it's very happy about it. I don't think it's, actually, that's because this is still open. So this is open in the background. So what it will do is it will open the other thing and it will open this, which will be connected with the system itself. So you won't be able to see this, I don't think. Hopefully. You won't be able to see this. But if I close this, now when I press buttons on here, yeah, they don't work. So we'll see if that works. It'd be good to know because that's what I'm after. Background services, so you can choose whatever services you want and you can choose not to have them on. Desktop account, yeah, whatever. And then you can go down, you can choose notifications that show up, you can change the users, like anything else in Windows and that kind of stuff. Date and time, hopefully the date and time is correct. Yeah, it is. Applications, file associations, all that kind of crap. KDE wallet, I can't remember what that's for. I think it's for access to different areas. It stores passwords and stuff. Online accounts, you can choose to add an account. Now on this you can choose to add a Nextcloud account, which is pretty cool, because I am trying to get a Nextcloud set up correctly at the moment. So I'm not exactly sure what the things on this would actually allow you to do through Nextcloud, but it's there, which is nice. Connections, so you can choose to have your wide connect, you know, all that kind of stuff. So proxy SSLs, Windows shares, you can choose to, that's pretty good actually. I didn't know this was here, but you can set a default username and password for connection to network shares on Windows, which will be SMB partitions that you may or may not have on a server off of your PC. So if you had a NAS, this will allow you to connect to them through these username and password that you put in here. I don't know how well that's stored, so maybe don't always do that. So you know, game controllers. So these things are available out of the box. You're allowed to have game controllers. I don't have a game controller, so I can't actually test this, but they are there. Display monitor, so it allows you to change your screens and stuff. So my third screen is actually sideways. It's an 1080p screen that runs alongside my 4K screen, and I've got a 1440p screen off to the left side, which I use to play games on. And it's a little bit higher up than my other screen, which allows you to kind of like lay back a little bit more. It came with the correct refresh rates for each screen, and that's pretty good. I like that. You can choose the compositor and camera. Basically what you can do on here is everything. So you can do any customizations and stuff that you have or you want, you can do on here, and that's the best thing about Linux. So you got energy saving, So you can. I've changed it to turn the screen off after 10 minutes because I think 5 minutes was the default and it was going really quick. And you can choose other power saving settings. I do have a Bluetooth device that I want to try and pair up, and I have a Bluetooth thing connected. So I do want to see if I can actually find it. So let's see. Ah, it did find it. Now I probably need to. Did that just work out the box? Like that? Well, we'll find out. I'll click here. No, it did not work out of the box. Trusted blocks disconnect. Wait, what did it? Oh my god, it did. It actually did work out the box. Let's put numlock on, that's why. So I have a little Bluetooth wireless pad here, which comes in handy from time to time because my keyboard doesn't have a number pad. And sometimes it is nice to just use the keys of an actual number pad. I've been meaning to set that up for a long time actually, and I've just got around to doing it in this video. So there we go. So you have KDE Connect, which allows you to use KDE Connect Android, which allows you to access your text messages, I believe, through your phone on your PC, which is quite nice because I also don't like using my phone, especially when I'm at my PC, because I've got all these buttons and stuff that I can press, and it's a little bit finicky on a phone screen sometimes, you know. Printer, this is done through Cups, which is a very good system, which is actually created by Apple and put out there as open source, I believe. So, very good system. It actually does work really nicely. Excuse me. I have a label printer, and it's noticed it. Wow. Okay. It actually noticed it. It's on 22. Because 21's usual is my usual printer port, which I don't have a printer for yet, but I will do soon. I should have set my 3D printer to 23. To be fair, I might have done that. I don't think I did. But that's mad actually, because I didn't have a driver for it though. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I will need to figure that one out. If you guys know anything about finding drivers for the Honeywell, oh my god, it's finding drivers for the Honeywell. Okay, well I'm going to play about with that anyway. I'm not going to do that in this video because that might take a while. System, so yeah, the last other things that we have here are just removable storage. You know what that is, removable devices and stuff. You can choose what it does with it. So on attach or whatever. Do you mount the drive? Do you not mount the drive? I think on digital cameras you might be able to have it so that it pulls all the photos off of the device automatically. But I mean that's definitely an option on here anyway. And then you got about the system. That's the about for this system. You can see my specs, which are a little outdated nowadays. But you know, it's a modest PC. It's a nice PC. I could probably do with doubling the RAM, but also I could do with upgrading the motherboard so I can fit a second graphics card in for GPU pass through. But you know, we always dream for more. Oh, that's what I was meant to do actually. I was meant to see if did it work. Command exit code this one. I don't think this did work for Fusion 360. And if it did, I can't see a window for it, which is always fun. Yeah, if you guys have any comments, questions, queries about Manjaro or about switching to Linux, please leave them in the comment section below. This is going to be a very long video because I've just realised it's 37 minutes unedited. So it's probably going to be about 30 or so edited. And it's going to take a while to edit as well because it's a lot of stuff to go through. But I have been talking fairly quickly and consistently, so I won't have to cut out too much or anything. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.